Syrians are celebrating their hard-won freedoms throughout the nation, but that joy is tempered by the absence of so many, imprisoned and never heard from again, disappeared in the night, and murdered in foreboding torture chambers. In some ways, Syria is a land of ghosts, and the job of speaking for the dead now falls to their loved ones and to the new Syrian government. Our Layla Molana Allen reports now from the suburbs of Damascus. A warning, some of the images in this story are disturbing.
Bringing up the bodies. As the full scale of the Assad regime's crimes against its people is discovered, Syrians are beginning to look for their loved ones underground. This morning, they've opened a suspected secret burial site on a construction lot outside Damascus, near one of the regime's most feared prisons. Inside, bags filled with bones and human skulls.
We found 7 bags. The 7 bags, there is a written code names of prisoner. A prisoner number blah. Prisoner number blah.
Each of the bags was labeled with the number of a prisoner.
According to what we found this.
But no names.
The brand of the bag, it was a flower from Argentina, for example.
They were burying human bodies inside flour bags.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Syria's civil defense volunteers, the White Helmets, famous for pulling survivors out of the rubble of Assad's bombardment of the rebel-held northwest, are now working across the country to help secure grave sites. What do you think has happened to these bodies when you discover them? What condition are they in? What has been done to them?
I think they were prisoners. They died in the prison, and they put them here. Some of the bones were broken.
And so the fact that the bones are broken, what do you think that means?
Of course, torture.
Torture.
We need to search as Syrians to know what happened to our beloved ones.
Across the country, mass graves like these are now being discovered. Many Syrians long suspected where they were, but they weren't free to ask or look. The priority now is to securely exhume these remains so they can be identified and laid to rest, but also to gather vital evidence to prosecute those who committed these atrocities. With more than 100,000 Syrians still missing, Ammar fears much of his country is now a graveyard.
This is also grave. This is also a grave. Look. Yesterday, I received a call from a woman, a mother. She lost her son 12 years ago. Well, he was arrested 12 years ago. And she asked me about Sednaya because there was a rumor, there was people in Sednaya crying under the ground. I told her no one, it's empty. Everyone were liberated. And she said, I hope Sednaya wasn't taken because I still had a hope before to have my son alive. But now I am sure 99% is that my son is dead.
Now that the prison has been freed, she knows he's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so she thinks she's looking for a body.
Yeah.
Finding dead ends searching prisons and hospitals, desperate families are now appealing to the public. This monument in central Damascus is covered in hundreds of posters of missing men, fathers, husbands, sons. They contain the date when they were last seen before they disappeared and a phone number if anyone has any information. As we read the posters, people approach us with the stories of disappeared loved ones, begging for help. Hanna is walking the streets of Damascus, clutching a fistful of pictures of her son Hassan. I ask her what happened to him.
In 2012, he went out with his cousin to buy bread. He disappeared. I don't know what happened. But when they published the list of names at Sednaya prison, his was there.
Has she been able to find any information at all, I asked? No, nothing.
Without him, there's nothing left. I'm all alone.
As the country celebrates its newfound freedom after more than half a century of autocratic rule, every hope for the future is shadowed by the losses of the past. And for those still searching, the agony of not knowing is making it impossible to move forward. In the wrecked Damascus suburbs of eastern Ghouta, a solitary mourner crouches over an unmarked grave.
I want to know where my sister is. What am I supposed to tell my mother now? What should I tell her? Let's enjoy the victory? Where's the victory?
Maha is searching for her sister. She was buried a decade ago, one of the thousands killed by Assad's chemical weapons stockpile. She's no idea where, so she's chosen to mourn at this spot. Until now, it's been forbidden to search or even speak of it.
We couldn't say a word. No one inside the country could ever mention the chemicals. We were so oppressed we couldn't even cry or get treatment. She was just 21 years old. She was pregnant when she died. And all my other siblings are spread across different graveyards.
In August 2013, regime forces launched rockets containing the chemical agent sarin on 2 rebel-held neighborhoods in the Damascus suburbs of eastern Ghouta. It was the deadliest chemical weapons attack since the Iran-Iraq war. Barack Obama had warned the regime that using chemical weapons against civilians would force America's hand. UN inspectors who searched the site confirmed significant quantities of the gas has been used in an indiscriminate attack. In spite of international outrage, nothing was done to stop it happening again. With her 6 siblings dead, only Maha and her mother are left. Suffering the long-term effects of sarin without access to treatment, Maha's mother is blind and unable to walk. Maha struggles to see well and has lost her sense of smell.
I got affected by the chemicals and suffered a lot because I stayed here. There's nothing left for us. We're dead inside now. We just want things to get better from now on for the young ones. They don't deserve to live any more years of war.
We still don't know exactly how many people were killed here, partly because of the veil of silence enforced on victims by the regime, and partly because whole families were exterminated, with no one left to mourn them. Some estimates are as high as nearly 2,000 people killed in one day.
What we saw on the bodies of children, women, and men from the chemicals was unfathomable. We saw the foam coming out of their mouths, noses, and ears. There was blood coming out too, and their bodies were blue as if they'd been badly beaten.
Zuhair remembers every face, every mother and child. It was he who buried their bodies, laid 5 or 6 on top of each other in each hole, because there were so many.
Yes, they were mass graves. We put each body beside the other, covered them with sand, and then did the same all over again. People were bringing piles of bodies from everywhere. It was indescribable. We stayed there for 3 hours burying them.
Rescuing as many of his neighbors as he could, Zuhair was too late to save his own mother. As he rushed to take her to hospital, he collapsed from the effect of the poison floating through the air.
I found her taking her last breaths. There was no one to help me carry her, and I was so exhausted. I went outside and fell down. I tried to get up again and walked for about 20 yards, and then I recited my own last rites.
When Zuhair regained consciousness, his mother was dead. He lost 25 members of his own family in the attack. Zuhair and Maha want revenge for decades of suffering. But with Bashar al-Assad and his family safely in Moscow under Vladimir Putin's protection, they're unlikely to get it. The most they can hope for is to finally seek treatment for their many illnesses and to mourn their loved ones in the open at last.
What kind of butcher is he, putting all these people underneath the ground like this? What have they done to deserve this? May God take revenge on him. I wish for Bashar al-Assad not to die until he sees the agony of mothers, my mom's agony, who wakes up every day asking about her little girl.
An entire nation seeking answers, seeking justice, the man responsible out of reach. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Layla Milana Allen in eastern Ghouta, Damascus.